Hey everyone, it's the Gadget Guru. This is going to be a format talk about the format we're in right now for decks and strategies and stuff like that. I'm going to go over the top 8 decks of the last two shonens just to give you an idea how random this format is. Um, this is from the California one, I believe, San Diego or whatever. Um, Gemini Stun, these were in the top 8. Gemini Stun, Blackwing, Volcanic Dandy Warrior, X Haters, Machina Gadgets, Plants, and there was like 2 copies of X Sabers and stuff like that. But what's interesting is the Machina Gadgets had the triple gadget set. I found that really interesting. And then of this last shonen, we just got the top 32 deck list. We had Plant Synchro, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, X Sabers again. I think it was 2 X Sabers, Machina Gadgets again with triple gadgets, and like 2 Blackwings. I think it's really interesting. All the Machinas that are topping have triple gadget sets. A lot of people say triple gadgets is too much. You don't need it. Blah 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 blah. But I think with how much you can abuse Fortress and gadgets, I think triple gadgets would work well in the deck, and obviously it does. I mean, they've been topping, so you can't say it's not a good combo. As for regionals around here at least, our tops were weird. We had like Ben Samurai OTK, Gigavice OTK, X Sabers, a Plant deck, a Blackwing. It was like a Blackwing OTK or something weird. It was built off of like value abuse and Armed Wing and all kinds of weird stuff. It was weird. Like it had DDVs and solidarities and it was really good, but it was weird. And we had just weird decks here. We had a stun, just a straight up chaos stun deck, and then we had a removal deck in the top 8 as well. So, it just shows how varied this format is. This is literally the format that anybody can build a deck that they want to build and have a decent chance with at regionals. Because, there's decks that would have never been tried to be run before. Removal has been removal for a long time. Everyone's like, oh, removal's too slow now, blah, blah, blah. But with Pot of Duality, it gives you a much faster engine for anti-meta decks, removal, Ben Samurai OTK, that kind of stuff. It gives a much faster engine, and that's what's amazing about it. Pot of Avarice literally leveled the playing field. I mean, it's an amazing card. I honestly, in my opinion, think it's a staple. Like, even if you're running a special summon deck, it can be really good even with then. Especially if you're using the Blackwing draw card that says you can't special summon, you can duality and use that draw card in the same turn, and you can stack the effects and just lose one turn of special summoning. So I think that this format is going to be really interesting. I'm really interested for the next regional, so I'm going to judge that time, and I'm going to walk around and see what decks are persevering and maybe why. As for cards, what cards I think define the meta? First of all, Heavy Storm being banned. It defined the meta big time. Heavy Storm was one of the biggest nuisances to all the decks out there. It was one of the biggest game breakers for most of the decks out there, like X Haters and stuff like that. X Sabers, sorry. I call them X Haters. I don't like the deck. I'm sorry. For all you X Saber fans, I apologize. Heavy Storm really defined the format when it got banned, and I'm glad it's banned. I think it was good for the format. Some people disagree, but I think it was good for the format. Pot of Duality. I honestly think it redefined the whole game. I honestly think it did. It was amazing, and it's fun. Third card, I think, I'm only going to list 3. There's probably a lot, but third card, I think, in my opinion, the most major, was Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is broken. It's a DD Crow skill drain from your hand. I mean, how can that not be broken? I mean, they try to activate an effect, you just Effect Veiler it, and it's just brutal. It gave Chaos Stun a whole new leverage, because DD Crow was getting just not very good because the grave isn't that dependent anymore. Like, they can usually get by, even if you try and DD Crow something. But now that Effect Veiler's out, it's like, I'm not going to DD Crow you, I'm going to Effect Veiler you. You lose your effect in general, which I think is really good. So I think those 3 cards, Power Duality, Effect Veiler, and Heavy Storm being banned, I think those really affected the meta. top decks, in my opinion, there is no top deck. There's no deck right now that's better than the rest. We've seen different decks topping everywhere. There hasn't been a consistent deck. X-Sabers are still good. Blackwing are still good. Machina Gadgets are still good. There's decks that are good. But as for a top deck, I don't think there is. I really don't. If you want to disagree with me that, we can argue it till the sun goes down. But I'm going to say there's not a top deck right now. My opinions on the latest shonen. The deck list didn't really surprise me. Plant Synchro, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, X-Sabers, Machina Gadgets, and Blackwing. It didn't really surprise me. They're all good decks, and they all had a good chance. What surprised me the most was probably the one before that, where Gemini Stun won the shonen. I looked at that and went, what? Gemini Stun? But it was actually a really good deck. And Volcanic Dandy Warrior. That one threw me for a loop too, my friends. I did not see that one coming. So the previous shonen was much more interesting to me. This shonen was like, oh, good decks. My predictions for this format? I have no clue. The decks seem random as ever. What decks do I think will be good? Blackwing, Machina Gadgets, X-Sabers, Lightsworn, Dandy Warrior, possibly Anti-Meta Gadgets if someone finds a really good build. I don't know, just pretty much standard stuff. I think that... What do you want, Cooper? Sorry, my dog is bothering me. I think that this format is really going to be defined by tech more than the deck. Hey, that rhymed. Anyways, I think this format is going to be dependent on what you run versus another player, what he's running. So I really think figuring out the right number of dualities is going to affect it. Figuring out your best sideboard or your side deck or whatever is going to affect it. That's my opinion on this meta. So if you guys have an opinion and you want to add your 2 cents, you can comment down below. This has been the Guys Guru. This is my format talk, and I'll catch you guys later.